This room's very familiar with the opportunity that faces insurance with the advent of cyber insurance, in an extremely growing market. I think we see today that in the 21st century, really one of the biggest risks to the global economy is the digitization of commerce. And so really what we're seeing is that businesses are looking at ways to really accept, avoid, or mitigate or transfer risk, certainly through the use of insurance. So where does Cybercube fit into that? About 3 years ago, Symantec, one of the global providers of cybersecurity in the world, really started to look at a holistic approach to cybersecurity. And while they were already a leader in the space of small businesses, individual consumers, all the way up to the largest enterprises in the realm of cybersecurity products and services, they did recognize across their own customer base that regardless of the technology and services that you have in place, inevitably there was opportunity for vulnerabilities and for breach events for their customers. No cybersecurity solution or service is impenetrable. It's also managed by individual human beings that make mistakes and have to maintain and deploy those types of solutions. Additionally, small businesses, mid-sized enterprises are often making economic choices around their cybersecurity solutions and services that they've deployed. And because they're making those economic choices, oftentimes there's even gaps in that kind of cybersecurity technology and posture that they have. So Symantec really started to look at that and say, how can we help our customers from a holistic approach? And that really grew the cyber insurance business within Symantec. So Cybercube was originally an incubated business unit within Symantec for the last roughly 2.5 years doing research and development. What we started to do is really look at all the data and telemetry that Symantec was getting from their customers, their products and their services and their own individual research that historically they had utilized to build better cybersecurity solutions and services, but really looking at how they could deploy that from an analytics standpoint and how that can be meaningful, in particular with the cyber insurance industry. So at the end of 2017, that research and development culminated into a couple products that I'll talk about in a minute. But as we were looking to deploy those products, Symantec made the decision to actually spin off that individual business unit into what is now Cybercube. So we are an individual separate entity. Symantec remains a significant shareholder in the company. We've also got outside funding from ForgePoint Capital, which is one of the largest VC funds dedicated to the cyber security market. And we've essentially been operating as our own separate business since the beginning of this year. With that being said, we obviously still remain closely tied to Symantec as a shareholder and have kind of exclusivity around the cybersecurity telemetry and data that they provided into our solutions. So with that as a separate entity, our mission really is to reduce uncertainty to really enable the cyber insurance market to make better decisions around insurance. So how we do that today is we really developed two products, as I mentioned earlier. One is our Portfolio Manager product. This is an accumulation management analytics tool that looks across systemic risk across the entire cyber insurance portfolio. Today, it's mainly focused around affirmative cyber risks, but there also are some capabilities around silent cyber coverage, and those capabilities are also expanding. In addition to Portfolio Manager, we also have Account Manager. Account Manager is a single risk underwriting analytics product, really designed to help facilitate single risk analytics for cyber insurance policies. So an individual underwriter can utilize those tools to look at an individual company, assess their cybersecurity risk, pair that with the potential insurance exposures, and then ultimately deliver the right product to them. What makes us different is obviously some of the data that I talked about. We have that exclusivity data from Symantec, and kind of industry-leading threat intelligence that comes from Symantec. But we also utilize a variety of other data sources in the space, and we have other data partnerships as well. I think one of the things that makes us distinct is that we do have transparent modeling. So a lot of the other folks out in the market today utilize this kind of black box approach, of which we found that the insurance companies and reinsurers really want to understand how these risk analytics and models are being derived and what kind of data is going into it to produce kind of the outputs of that. In addition to that, we've really built out a diverse team of both cybersecurity experts, but also brought experts from the modeling and actuarial world, as well as experts from the insurance markets as well. So here's a few of the use cases across Portfolio Manager. Certainly analyzing pricing and risk and reserving capital for those risks is part of the benefits that you get of it. You can develop kind of cat load technical pricing, as well as a number of other use cases, and then certainly on the underwriting side, really to help facilitate and automate an underwriting process, but also help kind of pricing as well. So with that, I'm already extended past my time, but happy to take any questions.